this time, I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called, and that a notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time, if you please rise for the pledges and a word of prayer. Please remain standing. With us tonight, we have Derek Brown with Calvary Baptist Church to offer us an opening prayer this evening. Mr. Brown, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, first of all, we come together just thanking you that we can be here together, that we can be in person together. Lord, we're thankful for the bond passing and for all the work that went into get that passed. God, we ask for wisdom for our board and our superintendent as they make big decisions looking into the next school year and the rest of this school year. God, grant everybody patience with one another, and we ask that you will be present. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, at this time, we will do the administration of oath of officers of new board members. With us tonight, we have Judge Benton Eskew.
Would you raise your right hands and repeat after me? I state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of School Board Trustee for the Bastrop Independent School District of the State of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Congratulations. Thank you.
Judge Eskew, again, thank you for coming out this evening. We appreciate it. All right, this time we'll move into reorganization of the board leadership positions. At the first meeting after each election and qualification of board members, the members of the board shall organize by selecting a president, vice president, and secretary. At this time, is there any discussion from the board? If there is no discussion, I'll entertain a motion at this time for the leadership positions.
I move to that the board leadership positions remain the same for the 2021-2022 school year as they were in the 2020-2021 school year.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Congratulations. We don't have to change seats here. All right, this time, Mr. Edwards, would you introduce our student speaker for this evening, please?
Yes, I would. It'd be my honor. I got to meet his mother and his grandmother. Thank you all for coming out this evening. I'd like to introduce you to our speaker, character education trait for May, and that's on integrity. Joel Briones is an 8th grader at Cedar Creek Middle School. Come on up, Joel, to the podium. And he will speak this evening about integrity. Joel is a student council president and is interested in serving in the government after graduating college. Joel will be attending Cedar Creek High School in the fall. He hopes to attend Yale after graduating high school. Joel is active in our community as a volunteer for his church and other community organizations. Joel has also volunteered for several political campaigns, most notably for Dan Crenshaw, Beto O'Rourke, and Joe Biden. When not volunteering, Joel enjoys playing video games, and Joel's parents are Joe and Crystal Briones. And again, thank you, Grandma and Mom, for being here this evening. Joel, the floor is yours.
Of the office that I want to enter. It will help me serve not only the people of my community, but of my great state. Let me leave you with this, my favorite quote on integrity. Honesty is telling the truth to other people. Integrity is telling the truth to myself.
Joel, that was outstanding. Thank you for those words and for your career path. We wish you the best. We'll be here to serve you all the way through, okay? Take care, and thanks for being here. At this time, we're going to move into our special recognitions. This is one of the best times of the school year because we get to honor the achievements of all of our students. Tonight, we'll be honoring, our first agenda item will be to honor our top 10 Colorado River Collegiate Academy students, our Cedar Creek High School, and Bastrop High School students, including our valedictorians and salutatorian, Dr. Lee.
Thank you so much. Yes, this is a great night of student and staff recognition. Tonight we do have with us the principal of the Colorado River Collegiate Academy, and he's going to share with us and honor his top graduates. Mrs. Gabriel and Mrs. Cornelius of the other two high schools have some other responsibilities this evening at their school, so I will be doing that. So without further ado, Mr. Conradi.
Thank you. Good evening, board. Very, very, very proud I guess it's going to... There we go. All right. I'm very, very proud to introduce our top 5 students, which represents our top 10%. Now, I need to caution you. They're going to be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order, but we get grades from Austin Community College tomorrow morning, and so this will change. I am not introducing the valedictorian or the salutatorian tonight. Okay? I'm just telling you, here's our top 5 students right now. Okay, and then we'll see what happens in the morning. All right, number 5 right now is Gabrielle. She goes by Paloma Serna. She's the daughter of Carmen and Paul Serna. She's going to be attending Texas A&M Corpus Christi to study psychology. And Paloma is also one of our NHS officers. Just a fantastic student. Yep. There we go. Number 4. Here's the artist in the group, Emma Henderson. She's the daughter of Cindy and Bill Henderson. She's going to be attending Texas State University to pursue a career in photography. And she truly is an artist. She participated in several plays at Bastrop High School, non-UIL plays. Number 3, the doctor in the group, Shazael Laduna. She goes by Jed. Jed is the daughter of Eden and Jose Laduna. She plans to pursue pre-med studies at Texas A&M University, and she plans to be in med school in 2 years. I'll get it right at some point. All right, number 2 right now is Xin Lu. You probably remember her. She was on the Superintendent Student Advisory Council for a couple of years when she was freshman and sophomore. She is the daughter of Xu Yin Wu and Qing Sung Liu. She will study international business at the University of Texas at Austin. All right, I guessed right. And number 1 right now, again, to change in the morning, William Etheridge. So the valedictorian and the salutatorian thing, I'm just reminding you. William is the son of Holly and John Etheridge, and he is going to study, no surprise here if you know his dad, computer science at the University of Texas at Austin. And that is the Circa crew. Thank you very much.
Outstanding. Okay, let's move on to Cedar Creek High School. Number 10 is Meadow Branch, and she is the daughter of Rebecca Williams and Brandon Branch. She plans to attend Texas State University to pursue a degree in nursing, which I believe is like her mom. Number 9, Maya Cornelius. That name might sound familiar. She's the daughter of Bridget and Steve Cornelius, and she plans to study pre-law at UT Austin, and her hopes and dreams include becoming a human rights lawyer. Number 8 is Amelia Louie, the daughter of Elizabeth and James Louie. She will attend the University of Texas at Austin to pursue a degree in art and entertainment technologies with an emphasis in video game design. That sounds fun. Number 7 is Lisette Cruz Gorstieta, the daughter of Maria and Julio Cruz. She plans to also go to the University of Texas at Austin to study biology and to pursue a career in the medical field. Our number 6 ranked student is Henry Jones. He is the son of Deborah and Daniel Jones, and he is going all the way over to California, to UCLA, to study engineering. Number 5 is Kaylee Ridlin. She is the daughter of Jennifer and Brian Ridlin, and she is headed to Texas State University to major in psychology with an emphasis in play therapy for children. Number 4 ranked student is Isabel Seguin. She is the daughter of Dana and John Seguin, and she also plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin to study architecture. Number 3, Luke Kadura, the son of Tracy and Rodney Kadura, and he will pursue a degree in electrical engineering from the University of Texas. This year's salutatorian is Emily Spetlick. She is the daughter of Jennifer and Charles Spetlick. She plans to pursue a degree in computer engineering from Texas Tech University, and the only Red Raider on our list. And our valedictorian this year is Braden Murphy. He is the son of Donna and Patrick Murphy, and he is headed to the University of Texas to pursue medical engineering. He would like to become a pediatric cardiologist. This is an outstanding class of 2021 for Cedar Creek High School with high goals and dreams, so let's give them a round of applause. We will move on to the recognition of top graduates at Bastrop High School. Our number 10 ranked student is Alyssa Navarez. She is the daughter of Melissa Navarez and John Navarez, and she plans to study business at the Texas A&M University Mays School. Number 9 is Myra Robles, the daughter of Adi and Jay Carmen Robles. She will play softball at Otero Junior College. then transferred to UT Austin for pre-law, followed by the St. Mary's School of Law. She has got it all mapped out. Number 8 is Madeline Volker. She is the daughter, Madison Volker. She is the daughter of Mary and Kyle Volker. She plans to attend UT Dallas with plans to pursue a career in medicine. That could be research or it could be patient care. She hasn't decided yet. Number 7 is Lane Ellsworth, the daughter of Kylie Ellsworth and Brannon Ellsworth. She plans to go to the UT Austin to pursue a degree in international business and global studies. Our number 6 ranked student is Cameron Hernandez Gill, the daughter of Crystal and Josh Gill. She will head to Texas A&M to pursue a degree in society, ethics, and law with a minor in philosophy. Number 5 is Addie Taylor. She is the daughter of Amy and Blake Taylor, and she's headed to Concordia University to play soccer, where she will also study pre-med with a goal of becoming an orthopedic surgeon. Number 4 is Hannah Reisinger. She is the daughter of Nancy Wilson and Sam Reisinger. She will attend the University of Texas Cockrell School of Engineering with plans to pursue a career in environmental engineering. Number 3, John Palacios, the son of Bibiana and Ismail Palacios. He plans to attend Texas A&M in College Station to study bioengineering. BHS salutatorian is Caitlin Ingram. She is the daughter of Lori and Clay Ingram. She will also attend Texas A&M University, the Mays School of Business Honors Program, studying pre-law. And this year's valedictorian is Dawson Franklin. He is the son of Mary Beth and Ronnie Franklin and will attend Rice University in the fall to study engineering. Congratulations to these amazing students at Bastrop.
These wonderful students, not only as the top 10 of each of the high schools, as we went to their senior awards, some of you board members had the pleasure of going, and many of our cabinet members, they earned, in spite of COVID, this last school year, over $8 million in scholarship money throughout the school district. So let's give them a round of applause for that. So along with our students at this time of year, we also celebrate our staff. And the first staff member that we'd like to celebrate is our paraprofessional of the year. And Dr. Lee will be introducing her to us.
Absolutely. So these are all of the paraprofessionals that represent our campuses. David Hall at Bluebonnet, Audra Thomas at CCE, Jareli Ruiz Flores at Emile, Monica Rios at Los Pines, Marlise Lahan at Mina, Jody Clark at Red Rock, Esther Vaquera at Bastrop Intermediate, Nikki White at Cedar Creek Intermediate, Jennifer Adamson, Bastrop Middle School, Angie Riggins, Cedar Creek Middle, Lindsay Conti at Bastrop High, Veronica Anguiano, Cedar Creek High, and April Enriquez, Circa Genesis, Antoinette Green at Gateway, and Shannon Richards for the BISD Service Center. And our paraprofessional of the year is Jody Clark, and we had the pleasure of honoring her on Friday. Her principal said that Ms. Clark continues to shine instructionally. She believes in our students, and her encouragement and consistent support helps them find their confidence. Congratulations to all of our paras and to Ms. Clark, our district paraprofessional of the year. For our teachers of the year, we have Jackie Dixon at Bluebonnet, Jackie Heger at CCE, Terry Blair at Emile, Angie Alvarado, Los Pines, Diane Kaufman at Mina, Christy Henson at Red Rock, Coffee Swab at Bastrop Intermediate, Amber Bright, Cedar Creek Intermediate, Fabiola Montoya, Bastrop Middle, Caitlin Shepard, Cedar Creek Middle, Aaron Land, Bastrop High School, David Hassan, Cedar Creek High School, Cindy Ocampo at Circa, Monica Rolfel at Genesis, and Jason McComb at Gateway School. And our elementary teacher of the year is Amber Bright from Cedar Creek Intermediate. It is evident that Ms. Bright cares for students, education, and our school. We are extremely proud to have her selected as Teacher of the Year because she exemplifies the character and effort required for such an honor. And our secondary Teacher of the Year is Aaron Land Miss Land is so deserving of this award, and Bastrop High School is beyond lucky to have her. She is such a strong advocate for students and a team player in wanting what is best for our school. Congratulations to the elementary and secondary teachers of the year. And finally, we had numerous, I think 25 nominees for our Rockstar Rookie of the Year. These are teachers who've been teaching for 1 to 3 years, and this year's Rockstar Rookie of the Year was Annalisa Browder from Emile. Miss Browder has excelled. She has a strong and unique understanding of how content and curriculum work together to create a scaffold for student success. She just rocks. And this was an awesome day rewarding Miss Browder and even one of her students who got choked up, which was really fun. So congratulations to all of our rookie nominees and to Miss Browder, this year's Rockstar Rookie of the Year.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Lee. At this time, we're going to move on to some athletic recognitions. Our athletic director, Mr. Andy Sexton, is joining us, and I believe he's going to introduce some of our incredibly awesome coaches to give out some awards.
Yes, sir, I am. Good evening, Mr. Edwards, School Board. Thanks for having us. Get a chance to recognize a lot of our young people. Oh, went backwards.
Slow down. Again, I'd like to introduce you to Andy Sexton, our athletic director, not our technology director.
Where's technology? How do you go so far? Who was the last person up here?
Coach, I got you. Just a second.
I'm almost there now. I blamed on the person before me. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. There we go. I appreciate you letting me mess up the computer, first of all, but being here to recognize our young people. We had a great season in spring sports. We have a lot of young people who qualified in either one district or got in the top 4 in district and went to area and made regionals. And so we're going to introduce coaches, let them come talk about the young people and their success this year. First, we'll start with the Bastrop High School track and field, and Coach Rollins will come up and talk about those student athletes.
Good evening. My name is Coach Rollins, and I'm one of the assistant track coaches at BHS. Coach Mayberry couldn't be here tonight, so I don't mind stepping in for him. But we had 18 kids qualify for the regional tournament, which is quite an honor. And only 4 of those kids are seniors, so we're getting quite a big group back to build on for next year, so it's quite exciting. I'm going to read out the names of who qualified and what event they qualified in. Aiden Barger Jr., 400-meter dash and 4x4 relay. Julius Baynard, sophomore, 4x2 relay and 4x4. Jaden Brown Jr., 4x2 relay, 4x4. Christian James was a senior. He's also academic all-district, and he was our alternate for the 4x4 relay. Keith Kellum, senior, discus. Clayton Sherman, sophomore, academic all-district, shot put. Jonathan Spurlock, junior, pole vault. He's also our district champion of pole vault. Demire Thompson, sophomore, 4x2 relay. Cole Widener, sophomore, academic all-district, 110-meter hurdles and the 300-meter hurdles. Rashawn Williams, junior, academic all-district and alternate for the 4x2 relay. Jelani Williams, senior, 100-meter dash, 4x2 relay, 4x4 relay. Moving on to the girls, Zakiah Caldwell, senior, academic all-district, academic all-state, 4x4 relay. Logan Dembowski, junior, academic all-district, 4x4 relay. Brianna Michi, junior, academic all-district, 4x4 relay. Elena Rodea, sophomore, 4x4 relay. Grace Sajabil, sophomore, academic all-district, shot put. Kiara Sanders, sophomore, 4x4 relay. And Haley Diebold, junior, in the triple jump. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach. I think since I've been here, it's probably the most student athletes I've seen from Bastrop High School make it to regionals. In order to make it regionals, you got to qualify top 4 in district, and then go qualify top 4 in area, and then go on to the regional track. So very, very proud of those young people. Next, we're going to have Coach Champagne talk about Bastrop golf.
Thanks, Coach Sexton, Mr. Edwards, fellow members of the board. My name is Kerry Champagne. I'm a teacher and very lucky to be the assistant coach for golf at Bastrop High School. I'm here to recognize an outstanding year from our golfers this year. I'm going to start on the boys' side with Zachary McClanahan. He was our lone qualifier from the boys' side. For Texas UIL Golf, you can qualify as an individual and you can qualify as a team. Or you can qualify as a team, I should say. So our lone qualifier was Zachary. He shot an 83 on the first day, shot an 85 on the second day, which is excellent considering he broke his collarbone and was out for 8 weeks, missed most of the season, came back and worked hard, still qualified for regionals. He's a special young man to us. We're going to miss him. He's our only senior in the program, girls or boys. He plans on attending Texas A&M in the fall. We're really going to miss him. And you could probably, he made regionals also as a sophomore, if some of you remember that. Probably would have last year as well, but unfortunately the season was canceled due to COVID. But we were lucky that he was able to finish out with a bang. And again, we're going to miss Zachary, and we wish him luck next year at Texas A&M. On the girls' side, it was, I guess, what you would call a banner year. At the UIL in Texas takes the top 2 teams of each district to a regional qualifying tournament. The top 2 varsity squads from that whole district. We were fortunate enough that Bastrop High School provided both of those squads in our district. They are the top 2, so our JV team all of a sudden became the second varsity squad to participate at the regional tournament at the golf club at Texas A&M. The regional qualifiers were Lindsay Hastings, who was your district champion, individual district champion at the district level, Lexi Miles, who was the district runner-up, Aubrey Hedberg, who was the 3rd place at our district, and our varsity squad was finished out by, our first squad, I should say, was finished out by Caitlin Maroney and Annika Gazdick. And then our second team was Avery Culler, Harley Martin, Megan Bouchon, Callie Lozano, and Margaret Carroll. Unfortunately, Megan couldn't travel with us to the regional tournament, so Michaela Flores, a freshman, filled in, and she did wonderful. Unfortunately, we did not have anybody qualify for state, but as I mentioned, Zachary's our only graduating senior, so our entire female squad and all the rest of our program is coming back next year, and hopefully we expect a repeat performance. So thanks very much for letting me speak tonight.
Thanks, Coach Champagne. Next, our tennis program, Bastrop High School. Coach Hardness actually has her tennis award ceremony tonight, so the kids and coach is at the award ceremony, but he wrote a paragraph he would like me to read tonight about his district champion doubles girls team. Bastrop High School was proud to have their first district champion in girls doubles since 2013. This past April, seniors Akaya Caldwell and freshman Alejandro Ramirez entered the 18-5A district tournament in Pflugerville unseeded. On day 1, they won their first round match in 3 sets in a match that took over 3 hours to complete. They came back an hour later and defeated the number 2 seed Conley team in a match that took 2 hours and 45 minutes. Then they took out the number 3 seed in the semifinals in a 2-hour match, completing a 3-0 record on day 1 and playing just under 8 hours of tennis. Despite the long first day, they returned to take out the number 1 seed Weiss team in 3 sets to win the district championships. Although they fell in a close match of regionals in their first round, they had an outstanding year and played with heart and determination. The team would like to relay our appreciation for the support we received from the school board and Bastrop community for Bastrop tennis. And I believe she runs track also, correct? So I think she did this day before the regional area track meet. Yes, that's right. That's right. Next, we have our track coaches, Coach Brooks and Coach Kramer from Cedar Creek.
Hi, thank you guys for having us tonight. I'm Coach Kramer. This is Coach Brooks.
Colby Brooks.
We're here to recognize our qualifiers for regionals. We had 4 qualify this year. Again, all varying in age, which was very promising for us. We only had 1 senior as well, which was Marco Portillo, and he qualified in the triple jump. Our surprise was our freshman qualifier, Nathan Laudenschlager, who also qualified in the triple jump. So that was a lot of fun to see those 2 go head and head. Marco did not want to get beat by a freshman. So that was very fun to watch that go back and forth. On our girls' side, we had Jada Martin Brown. She qualified in our 100-meter hurdles and our 300-meter hurdles. And then Brooke Gertz, again, was a great surprise as a sophomore qualifying to get out in high jump this year. Overall, a great season for all of our kids. Lots of PRs, lots of records, and much improvement for the season. Anything going up?
All right, thank you all. And last, but certainly not least, Coach Fiddler from Cedar Creek Golf Program.
Thank y'all for having me tonight. I took 2 individuals, or I didn't take, they earned their way into regionals for the golf tournament. The way they do it is after the teams are going, they take the next 2 medalists, the next 2 individuals that shoot a low enough score to go. I was able to take the valedictorian, Braden Murphy, to A&M for the regional golf tournament, and he also got all academic first team All-State. So just an amazing young man to work with and have the pleasure to coach. And on the girls' side, I took Emily Svetley. She's our salutatorian, and she earned elite academic All-State, which was pretty awesome. I just found that out last week. And I tell you, to coach the number 1 and the number 2 kid in school, the conversations are very different. The dad jokes are just a little bit, they get them, which is awesome. But Emily was the first female to make regional golf in Cedar Creek high school history, so that was really cool for her, and had a great year. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. I'd like to just take a second and thank you guys for letting us recognize our coaches and our kids. I've been in a lot of school districts, a lot of board members in my 30 years of this profession, and not too many districts give us a chance, not just for us, but for fine arts, and just to recognize our kids. We appreciate you guys letting us do that.
Thank you.
Am I introducing Chico?
No, I'll introduce him for you, please.
I got a few things I'd like to say.
No, please have a seat. Sorry, Chico. Our Fine Arts Director does an outstanding job for us, Chico Portillo.
Thank you. Andy, I have the mic now. Good evening, Board, Mr. Edwards. I'm excited to be here, and I'm very proud. I mean, so proud of the teachers that will speak to you tonight on about some of the phenomenal successes they've had this spring semester during this very peculiar year. So first up is Mr. Alex Ortega, the band director from Bastrop Middle School.
Hey there, thanks so much for having me out tonight. I want to recognize a lot of our band students at Bastrop Middle School. I'm the head band director, Alex Ortega. This is Ms. Ramirez right there on the slide. This was actually 2 days before the pandemic was declared, and so we got a good picture in before that. We want to recognize the varsity and the non-varsity bands who both received sweepstakes at UIO sight reading and contest evaluation in March. And what that means is you get a 1 from the stage performance and you get a 1 from the sight reading. And they both did really, really well on both portions, and the judges loved the bands, and we were very lucky that we could even go on site to play. So it was very, very good to do that with both groups. This is our symphonic band right here. You can't see it, but we had quite a few online students on Zoom also. You can't see it from the laptop, but there's like a bunch of Zoom kids on there that we had participate with us week in and week out. And ironically enough, the actual day of the UIO performance was the first time that we had every member of our bands play together for the first time. So they had never played together, so we have a saxophone and a trumpet and a percussion. Due to quarantines and kids are in and out, the actual first day was like, all right, here's everyone. And they knocked it out of the park. So it was really cool to have that happen. We had nearly 80 students combined between both bands, and we had over 10 online students. So we had 6 students in the top band that would play with us after school and go to before and after school practices to get ready for the big show. And so that was great that we were able to have online and on-site simultaneously this entire year. Next, we have our region band success, which was great. This was a big improvement from last year. And so region band tryouts this semester, or this year, were in the spring semester, and the kids prepare really hard music at a high level. And this year, the way it worked virtually was they submit recordings online, and this is against other 7th and 8th graders in band on trumpet and saxophone and tuba from Dripping Springs and Austin ISD and Hayes and Bastrop, of course, and the surrounding region. And we had 16 students make it out of 21 that went, which was great. So we had Molly, Melanie, Landon, Clara, Destiny, Emma, Riley, Drake, JC, Adrian, Roy, Dane, Julian, Keikoa, and then there's 2 more at the bottom that I think got cut off, and that's Cooper and William. And I actually have to brag on Cooper real quick. So he got first chair on tuba. He also auditioned on another instrument, and he got third chair on that instrument. And so they had to ask me, and they said, hey, Mr. Ortega, do you want Cooper to do tuba or euphonium? I said, I don't know, let me ask him. So he was like, I'll do it on tuba, because I got first chair. He also plays a bunch of instruments, and I think, honestly, he'll be a professional musician. So he's our top band student right now. But anyways, yeah, we did really well this year with the Region Band kiddos, and I'm very proud of our program in the future. So thanks so much for supporting.
Next, I ask Jackie Fullerton to come to the podium and talk about the wonderful Cedar Creek Middle School Band program.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards and the board, for recognizing us tonight. My name is Jackie Fullerton. I'm the Director of Bands at Cedar Creek Middle School, and I better pick this up. And here is our director's staff. We have Luciel Lopez, Bianca Salazar, and Ben Russell for percussion. And then we have our Honors Wind Ensemble. We took just the varsity band due to COVID issues. We could not take our non-varsity band this year. They performed so well. We had 32 students perform. 30 were on site and 2 were online. They had only played with us maybe 4 times before they played with us at the concert. So we received sweepstakes from all the judges, ones in both concert and sight reading. And so that is our Wind Ensemble UIL. And then our all-region band accomplishments. This year we only sent 7 students to all-region band. They all placed. 6 of them made the top ensemble. 1 was in the second ensemble. They are Clarissa Perales on flute, second chair flute for the whole region. Elisa Sanchez, 4th chair bass clarinet. Brooke Godfrey, 4th chair alto sax. Ashley Campbell, 10th chair saxophone. Diego Huerta, 6th chair trumpet. Diego Melendez, 2nd chair euphonium, and Armando Resendez, 3rd chair euphonium. So those are our region band kids. What was really cool about their experience is this year they had to do region band virtually. So I have pictures of them. We did this in the band hall this last weekend. They're in that first picture, they are actually on Zoom with like 200 other kids, and they're working with clinicians and other directors learning their music. And so what's gonna happen now is they recorded their parts individually on click tracks, and then we're gonna have engineers put it all together, and they'll have a band performance based on 200 students from all different areas in the region. So it was really cool, and they had a great time doing it. So those are pictures from their performance. We had a very successful year, and we are proud of our young musicians, and we can't wait to see what they will accomplish next year at Cedar Creek High School Band. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we shift to the choir world, and I ask that Miss Kate McGrew from Cedar Creek High School come to the microphone to talk about her students and their historic feats.
Hello, members of the board, public. We're very grateful to be here today. My name is Catherine McGrew. This is my 3rd year at Cedar Creek High School as the director, and I'm just going to read a little bit because I'm a little nervous. So thank you for honoring my students this evening. I would like to take this opportunity to discuss the successes we've had this year in spite of the pandemic. This year, our Cedar Creek High School choir numbers have grown from 45 to 70 students. We have had 70% of students who entered the TMEA all-region process actually made the region choir, which is amazing. Large schools and small schools across the areas don't have that level of success. We had 11 students advance to pre-area, and 54.5 or 6 students actually went to area. And of those 6 students, 2 actually made the all-state choir, which is phenomenal. And not only did they make the all-state choir, they made the first chair and the second chair in their respective voice parts. So truly amazing, beating out 6A programs as well. We also had varsity made. We took 3 choirs to the concert and sight reading for the very first time. And our varsity actually made sweepstakes. So they made ones on stage and ones in sight reading. Our treble girls is a non-varsity group. They actually made ones. They also made sweepstakes
ones in sight reading and ones on concert, and then we also took a third ensemble, our men, and they did very well. They made ones on stage. So these students keep showing up, proving their determination and grit in a time where the pandemic has decimated programs, school morale and attendance. CCHS students are on the rise. So.
Next, I ask Mr. Dalton Davis to come to the podium and talk about the Cedar Creek High School Band accomplishments.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards and the school board for allowing us to recognize our students. My name is Dalton Davis. I've been head director at Cedar Creek High School for 2 years, but I've been working there for 7. So I have really great news on the front of that because I've been here a long time. This year, for the first time ever, we've been able to take 3 bands to UIL. So our concert band, which is our sub-non-varsity, Mr. Benjamin Russell conducted, and it was the first time in history that they ever went, and they got straight ones on stage and in sight reading, which is a huge accomplishment. Our second band, our Symphonic Winds, which is our non-varsity, conducted by Mr. Seth Martin Davis, also received straight ones on stage and as well as in sight readings. And that's only the second time in history that they've gotten that honor. And then my ensemble, the Wind Ensemble, they also received straight ones on stage and sight readings. So for our entire program, for the first time ever, we received those highest honors. And it was really special because, it's been a very unique year. And if you look closely at the pictures, we had students playing in 2 ensembles on very different instruments to help cover parts at the last second. So it was a truly a huge team effort to be able to put that on. And I also would like to thank Mr. Portillo for allowing us to host UIL at our own PAC, which if we didn't have that opportunity, there's a good chance our students wouldn't have been able to have this opportunity to play at UIL. So thank you very much. And those are our trophies. Yeah.
And lastly, I call on Kenneth Gilbert to take us home as he shares the Bastrop High School Band and Color Guard achievements.
Hello, good evening. This year was a really great year for the Bastrop High School bands. This one, okay. And I was making sure I didn't do what you do. This year, for the first time in several years, since I believe the 90s, we went back and looked at the records that our symphonic band, or non-varsity band, made a 1 in concert and sight reading, and Mr. Grover, Peyton Grover, leads that group. And this is the first time for them in probably over 20 years to do that. And so there they are. And then our varsity wind ensemble, I'm the director of that group, along with Mr. Grover and Mr. Carley. We got the sweepstakes award as well. And this is our 3rd year to get that in a row, I guess, since we didn't get to go last year. And so there they are. And then there's our directors, myself, Mr. Grover, and Mr. Carley. And then moving on to our color guard program, my wife, Mrs. Gilbreth, Garnet Gilbreth, is the director. Maria Padron is our tech, and then we have a designer, Kyle Albright, who is a director at Pflugerville that also helps us out. And this year, they had just an outstanding year. This year, their show was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and you can see their uniforms with the cardigan sweaters and the ties and everything. And they were very, very successful in the Texas Color Guard circuit. In week 2, 3, 4, and 6, they were Regional A first place winners. And then at the virtual final, this year we did something completely different because they had a choice whether or not to go in person or to compete virtually. And so we decided, instead of usually we compete in the gym, that we would, since we were going to film, that we would do it on the PAC stage and use the lights and the background. And so we were able to use not only the background, we were able to project images of Mr. Rogers' show and the Tom Hanks movie and those kind of things, and kind of use that along with the show to kind of enhance that performance, and got a lot of attention for that. And so, so they were first place in the finale as well at the state championship. And so we're really proud of them. And then for the first time ever, even the first time for my wife as a color guard director for the last 16 years, she took our group to the virtual WGI, which is the Winter Guard International competition, and they received 2 superiors and 1 excellent rating, and then they advanced to semifinals and finals and ended up in the top 10 at the world-class Regional A finals out of 110 color guards from across the nation. And so we're really, really super proud of them for all their work, and they just did an amazing job. So thank you. I want to thank Mr. Portillo for all of his support in guiding our programs, for our other directors, and of course for the school board and our superintendent for your very strong support of fine arts in Bastrop ISD. Thank you.
Board, thank you again for supporting our fine arts department. Kenneth said it best. They rock. It's not me, it's them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Portillo. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Andy Sexton back to the microphone to recognize our school district nurses.
Thank you. It's a great opportunity to be associated with these ladies on the screen. You can see our 15 nurses that we have in our district, and I can't tell you enough what an outstanding job they do, led by our head nurse, Tanya Coleman. They do a great job every year, but with COVID on top of things and contact tracing and all the things they got to do, you know, I've learned a lot in the last 3 years overseeing the nursing a lot. But one thing, the main thing I've learned is that these ladies, they're the lone health professional on that campus from 500 to 1,000 to 1,500 kids. That's a lot of patients, right? And so I just am amazed every day by the great job these ladies do with our kids, with the staff, with the principals, and just I can't thank them enough. And Coach Nurse Coleman does a great job leading our staff. So just thank you for letting us get a chance to recognize these ladies. Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we'll move on to our spotlight speaker, Superintendent Edwards.
Thank you very much, President Muchik. Each month, we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to speak before the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is led by Becky Womble and her executive board. They allow an opportunity for BISD to present at their monthly meetings on opportunities or special initiatives that we have going on throughout the school district. So this month, what we wanted to do is I took advantage of the opportunity to be before the Chamber to thank them for their unyielding support of our bond, to get back out and publicly thank them. As you all know, board members, our priority goal is strong relationships and broad-based support. And I can say when we talk about the Chamber of Commerce and our business owners, we've accomplished that. We just passed, as you all know, by 67%, an unprecedented historic bond in our school district's history. And that could not have been done without the Chamber's support or our Citizens Advisory or our Political Action Committee. So we are turning back around just to publicly thank our community, our citizens, and everyone involved with BISD for their unyielding support. And so we look forward to moving forward and being tremendous stewards of the money and the construction that's already underway. We have surveys and things already taking place, and we'll continue to provide regular updates to you. But again, the spotlight today is just to publicly thank our business owners and our Chamber of Commerce for their support. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Edwards. At this time, we'll move into our open forum. The board encourages comments from citizens of the district or from district employees. Anyone that has signed up or wishes to speak either as an individual or as a representative of a group may do so at this time. The board asks that comments pertain to public education. Remember, the board may not discuss or act upon an issues that are posted on the agenda. If an issue mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, the board will defer discussion to the issue until the appropriate time during the meeting. The board has adopted complaint policies that are designed to secure, at the lowest administrative level, a prompt and equitable resolution of complaints and concerns. Complaints brought by students or their parents may be heard in accordance with the policies FNG Legal and FNB Local. We will be taking speakers in order that the requests were received. We allow 30 minutes for open forum, and we have 10 speakers signed up for this evening. Therefore, each speaker will get 3 minutes to speak. Just a friendly reminder out there that individual names of students, staff, or board members cannot be part of your speech. and that please respect the 3 minutes of the person speaking at the podium. All right, this time we'll bring up our first speaker here, which is Samantha, is it Cromer? Say that right?
Sorry, this is my first time speaking in front of a large group. Yeah. When the Nazis were brought forth for their crime, many of them stated I was just doing my job. During their trials, the Nuremberg Code, at the Nuremberg, the fact they were just doing their job did not factor into their crimes. I'd say masking an entire population of healthy children in the name of one man and newfound science religion is a crime. Abuse, suffocation, exhaustion all come to mind when I see someone put a mask on their child. Which, by the way, according to this new religion, children were factored out from the beginning. A Spanish flu study done by Dr. Anthony Fauci produced results stating that there were more deaths due to bacteria pneumonia caused by none other than, you guessed it, wearing masks. So my question to all of you is, why are we listening to them now? With vaccines, therapeutics, vitamin C, zinc, and plain old sun all available as cures, the mask still only protects you 0.05% from a virus, mind you, has a 95.5% recovery rate. Lining itself up with the common cold. Wearing a mask should never be a punishment for being human, and the health status of our children should not be sacrificed in the name of science. If you choose medical tyranny, that's on you, but our children do not. Stop the abuse and free our babies.
All right, our next speaker is Mickey Summers.
Thank everyone here for allowing me to speak today, and I want to introduce my granddaughter. This is Abby. She says I can't call her my wing man, so she's my wing buddy because she's a girl. But I'm here to talk about the somber issue. I'm so wonderful to hear about all of the accomplishments of the district, everything that people do here. They work hard, students work hard. I recognize that, but again, I'm here. I have 4 grandchildren that are enrolled into the Bastrop school systems, and the one thing that I find this year is that these masks are really taking a toll on these kids, especially on the buses. I'm respectfully asking for our constitutional Democratic Republic representatives that occupy the places on this board to lift the mask mandate forced upon the students immediately. The mask mandate, if your answer is to ignore the parents and their rights in this matter, then I shall broadcast to anyone who will listen and cast a no confidence vote in the next upcoming election for any board member that votes to keep this mask mandate passed today. State of Texas Health and Safety Code Title II, Health, Subtitle D, Disease, Chapter 81, Communicable Diseases, Chapter 29, CFR 1910, Occupational Safety. The state of Texas cites OSHA as a regulatory authority in 29 CFR 1910-120 for hazardous waste operations and emergencies. This is the regulatory environment for hazardous waste, and level A is the only acceptable personal protective equipment or PPE. When operating in a biologically contaminated site, COVID-19 is a biological hazard. Your schools are not in compliance with any of these laws. With Governor Abbott dropping the mask mandate, those regulatory and legal framework dropped with it. This alone violates the regulations of medical waste products. You You expose the district, its employees, and all students, and the taxpayer to a liability for not enforcing current law and regulations without an emergency declaration. No wonder how long it would take before the first declaration lawsuit or workman's comp claiming disability from the BISD employees or students. I was an NFPA.
Mr. Summers, thank you very much. That's your 3 minutes. Thank you for coming out this evening.
Thank you very much.
All right, our next speaker is April Winder.
Hello. I'm the mother of 2 teens here at Bastrop High School. I struggled whether or not I would share this story because privacy matters and bullying is real. You see, my daughter has anxiety, just like me. It developed after starting middle school here. The constant judgment from peers and teachers really weighed on her. She's someone who wants everyone to get along. She feels everyone should have a choice, and she will fiercely stand up for her friends, but not for herself. She had finally begun learning to navigate her anxiety right around the same time the school went virtual last year. Needless to say, her grades plummeted. She was distracted and confused. The system is not efficient. She needed that in-class structure to thrive. Our choices this year continue to allow her to fail in the virtual system and become a shell of herself, or worry every day about her panic attacks and anxiety being exacerbated by these masks. Not to mention what the slow oxygen deprivation does to the developing brain. We talk about everything, and this was a really tough decision, but we together decided on in-person schooling this year. Her first day back, she had a panic attack, and I told her to go to the nurse's office, take off her mask, practice her breathing exercises. The nurse not only told her she could not take off her mask, but also contacted me to ask me if my daughter actually had anxiety. She didn't believe my daughter was telling the truth. I had to come to the school and pick her up before she was allowed to get fresh oxygen and calm down. Now, my daughter doesn't trust the nurses. Gee, I wonder why. Or the teachers, for that matter. She doesn't tell anyone when she's having an attack now. Instead, she hides in the bathroom and calls me from her phone. She sits alone in the bathroom, hyperventilating because she's too scared to tell someone the truth for fear of judgment. When is the abuse going to end? This is happening in your schools right now. You've wanted parental involvement for a long time, and now you got it. Enough is enough. This system is broken. You need to clean it up today. Remove mask mandates immediately. Not June 1st, not next year, not whenever you feel like it. Today. Amen.
All right, our next speaker will be Ken Dunlap.
Hi, I'm Kim Dunlap. And some of you may not remember me, but I'm sure Mr. Edwards does. I sat in his office for 2 hours one time when my son was being assaulted 19 times. But, you know, BISD has a no bullying policy, right? My son is also a child at Bastrop High School who will not wear his mask. Not because he thinks it's safe, not because he thinks it's going to help him, because in fact he has asthma and it hurts him. He has anxiety, and he, like April's daughter, sits in a bathroom stall in a toilet to calm down. It's ridiculous, people. But I'm not going to go off on that part tonight. I thought I would read to you what your employees think, what your employees have said, but are too scared of the reprisal. This school year has been a year of confusion, sadness, apathy, and ignorance. Got that part right. Students have continually questioned rightly so, as to how big box stores remain open, as well as our cafeterias. Then minutes later, the students are yelled at, "Put your mask back on!" after eating. The sadness lies in the fact that amongst themselves, they laugh at adults. They comment about how their leadership caved to demands which have made absolutely no sense and have never followed scientific data. The entire debacle has shown the underbelly of the weakness of adults. We teach our children to think for themselves. Analyze, question, use common sense. When all the while we play party to twisted, propaganda-ridden theories, not based on facts, but based on groupthink. Our society as a whole will pay for this huge, grave mistake for years and years to come. I was sitting at work a week or so ago, and I get a message, a video message, from a very good friend's daughter. She said, "Well, this is where I'm at today." She chooses to not wear a mask to school. She chooses to not wear a mask to school because she has more courage than every one of you. I promise. And she was put in a closet. A closet. Would you put your child in a closet?
Ms. Dunlap, thank you. Your time's up. All right, and next we have Angie Renfro. Angie.
Good evening. My name is Angie Renfro. I'm a 1993 graduate of Bastrop High School, and I choose to homeschool my children. I'm here representing myself and the children who are enrolled in ISD and who are suffering because of these mask requirements. I've been collecting personal stories and experiences that have been shared this year with me from parents whose children that you've put at risk for this past year within the BISD system. One of those has been the virtual learning and how getting the same education in person, that the in-person students, they're not getting the same education as the in-person students. Teachers are being called away to help the in-person students, leaving the virtual learners to scramble through the non-effective system set in place and beg parents to help them. Yet not all parents are teachers and are not given adequate information to help our children, because that's the school's job. Another common issue is that kids are coming home from school with severe headaches and migraines. This is a common side effect of slow oxygen deprivation. It appears over time, and over time, the longer the student wears a mask. Other common issues are teachers using the disguise of discipline, making comments to students regarding their masks. Students have reported hearing teachers say things such as, "Do you want to kill someone? Put your mask on." Or, "Could you be the reason someone I love dies?" You know what that's called? Bullying. This is supposed to be a non-tolerant school district, so what do you plan to do about that? Teachers are not supposed to bully students. The U.S. Constitution requires that all kids be given equal educational opportunity. Article 7 of the Texas Constitution calls for the support and maintenance of effective systems of public free schools. You say students have choices, but the choices you've given them are obviously not working. They're not efficient and are far from equal. I'm embarrassed at what the system has to offer, and a small step in the right direction to get this district back is something that we could be proud would be to remove the mask mandates from the student and the staff immediately, not June 1st, not next year, now. We don't need permission to breathe.
All right, our next speaker will be Dr. Robert Daltrey.
Good evening. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Rob Doherty, and I'm a family physician. I've been practicing here in Bastrop for almost 20 years. I'm here tonight to implore the board to remove the mask mandate from our students. I currently have 2 children attending BISD, and so I come here tonight as a parent and a doctor. On March 10th, the Bastrop Council voted 4-1 to begin the phase-out portion of the coronavirus response plan. According to Bastrop City Council and our mayor, masks are no longer mandatory in city buildings. I urge the board to take advantage of this opportunity to act in the best interests of our children to continue providing the high level of education that we've come to expect and enjoy. Please allow me to bring to your attention some key issues. Fortunately, children are not at high risk for this virus. In fact, the CDC notes as of May 12th of this year, the risk for children aged 0 to 17 is 0.006%. Number 2, the emergency use vaccine is now available for those who want it. 3, simply put, masks do not work. Study after study demonstrates the efficacy of using cloth masks to prevent viral spread is dismal at best. The New England Journal of Medicine, Stanford University, and even CDC's year-long study placing mask effectiveness at 0.5 to 1.7% reveals essentially a 99% failure rate. Teaching is obstructed. We know how important it is to effectively communicate. This is why every one of you pulls down your mask to speak so you can be heard clearly. Certainly, children that are easily distracted and those with difficulty hearing properly enunciated words are in danger of missing out on important information that teachers are presenting. Number 5, masks can be medically detrimental. For children with common conditions such as asthma, which both my children have, the idea of covering their nose and mouth with a cloth all day goes against everything I've ever been taught as a physician. How could a doctor recommend that we restrict a child's airflow to keep them healthy? By insisting that a child wear a mask, we are knowingly decreasing their available oxygen and increasing their carbon dioxide. This has been readily demonstrated in medical literature for decades. You don't need a doctor to tell you that covering your mouth and nose with a cloth makes it hard to breathe. So why are we doing it? The unauthorized practice of medicine is a precaution against people who would try to treat others without proper training or by using unproven methods which could harm or even kill. This is why I believe this mask mandate is practicing medicine without a license. Look, the data is available, the vaccine is here, the pandemic is waning, our state is open, and as our superintendent of schools notes, the day is coming when we will be able to relax and or eliminate the requirement for masks in our schools. Well, that day has arrived. I ask that you remove the mask mandate today and stop forcing our children to concentrate more on their breathing than their learning. Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is Lynn Ferris.
I need to state one thing. I am disgusted by Bastrop School Board. Disgusted. You don't have the children of your school district at heart. You have your pockets at heart. I understand you may not get paid for the position you are in, but you are getting something out of being here. I guarantee you. I will be filing for all of the information dealing with any financials that this school district has had in the past year and a half regarding coronavirus, regarding any other health issues that children are going through or having. This will be done as of tomorrow morning. I have all the information I need. So, you say Bastrop is a non-bullying school district. That's a lie. Your teachers are bullying your students daily. Y'all have been known to be a bully. Last meeting, we're walking out. And yes, we walked out loud, we walked out proud. But we were laughed at. In this day and age, that is considered bullying. Amen. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Mr. President that started the laughing. It is not okay to bully. It is not okay for teachers to get away with what they're getting away with in in the classrooms, telling kids that they're going to kill somebody. Heaven forbid. You know, nobody worried about killing their family members before coronavirus. Going home with the flu. Heaven forbid you went home with the flu and grandma got it. My daughter is the only one in my household who has come home with the virus. She is 19 years old. She has been an avid mask wearer this whole year. And my 78-year-old mother, who is sitting back here, never got it. She had kissed my daughter the day before.
And she doesn't wear a mask.
She doesn't wear a mask. We haven't worn a mask in a year. I will not wear a mask because it suppresses your immune system. The only mask I will wear is my immune system.
Amen.
I am here representing every single parent back here, and I demand that you take a very strong and hard look, because I do vote here. And your decision will most definitely be taken into this brain right here and used at the next election.
You're not disrespectful.
I will not allow this to keep happening.
All right, our next speaker is Megan Voigt.
Well, here we are, 3 months later. I'd hoped we'd not be here, and I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing it. I'm here tonight to place the Bastrop School Board trustees and superintendent on official notification of your violations by continuing your illegal mask policy, abusing your power by creating a mandate when you have no authority to do so, mandating sovereign healthy adults and children in a school to wear a mask is illegal. School board officials do not have the illegal authority to create mandates. They are administrators of state agencies, not lawmakers. Shame on you for not upholding your oath to the Constitution. Shame on you for being complicit in child abuse and neglect for an entire year. If the shoe were on the other foot, all of the parents would have already been arrested and stood before a judge and found guilty. You're all guilty. Any court, government or government officer or school board member who acts in violation of or in opposition to or contradiction of these laws by their own action commits treason and invokes the self-executing Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and is hereby demanded to vacate their office immediately. No claim of an emergency executive order or health order excuses you from violating the law set forth in this notice that I'm about to give you. You are in violation of at least 32 federal and state laws. You are hereby notified of your violation pertaining to these laws. We consider your actions, which are forcing an illegal mask mandate, very serious. Unmask our children tonight, not June 1st. Stop the child abuse and stop segregating my kids. Amen. As Governor Abbott said today, Texans, not government, should decide their best health practices.
All right, at this time, our next speaker is Mary Bowen.
Thank you. My name is Mary Bowen. I'm currently a teacher of over 40 years, and I also taught in Bastrop ISD. When I first became a teacher, the first thing that I learned was if a parent told me that I was not allowed to put a latex Band-Aid on their child's knee or eat a cookie in my classroom, that the parent was the ultimate authority over their child. And I have never met in 40 years any agent of any school who ever assumed the liability involved in usurping the authority of the parent as the legal guardian. The simple fact of it is that students do not lose their civil rights or their constitutional rights when they cross the doorway of a public school building. The Supremacy Clause of the Constitution of the United States, Article 6, Clause 2, establishes that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it takes priority over any conflicting state laws and certainly over arbitrary policies. So you might say, well, what would happen if there really was a serious health emergency? Well, a judge has already ruled about this and set a legal precedent, stating there is no pandemic exception to the fundamental liberties that the Constitution safeguards. And indeed, individual rights secured by the Constitution do not disappear during a public health crisis. So I am asking you respectfully to respect the oath that you took when you assumed this position. And I urge you to comply with federal and state law and immediately advise these parents of their legal right of refusal. Under Title 18, the United States Constitution, Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, it is a crime in the United States. Acting under color of law to knowingly and willingly deprive a person of any of their rights or privileges protected by the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you.
All right, our last speaker for tonight is Courtney Nodorf. Courtney, did I pronounce that correctly?
Sorry?
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Nodorf.
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
All right, y'all. I've been emailing you. What is it going to take for y'all to choose whether or not let us choose whether or not we want our children wearing masks? You know the facts. These parents have been giving them to you for months now. Is it going to take losing a child? These children can't breathe during athletics. Kids can't concentrate during school from a lack of oxygen and the nagging pain of stupid mask strings behind their ears. I know you all know them. You're wearing them right now. When our children do say enough is enough and take off their masks, they get segregated from the rest of their peers and put in conference rooms alone. Or, in one instance, y'all put that child in a storage closet. Unacceptable. Y'all already know that we could have lost one at the beginning of the year. My child, my 5-year-old, sitting right back there. He was the one that passed out on the bus from a heat stroke. Had he not been an early stop on the route, he could have died. Think about that when you are making your decision about masks tonight. I just want to read y'all a little quote here. Serving on the board is a great opportunity to help make a positive difference in our children, teachers, and support staff. It is truly exciting to see all of the great things going on in our public schools. The smiles on parents and children's faces are priceless. Does that sound familiar, Ashley? Those are
Point of order, your
words.
time is up. You cannot mention the board member's name. Thank you.
These parents are not smiling.
Your time is up.
You can't see children's faces smiling.
Officers, please escort this lady out of the office building, please.
I will go there. Are you
Point of order.
I did not know I could not say your name, sir, but I will just sit quietly.
All right, at this time, I would like to pull action item A for board discussion and action. We will consider superintendent's recommendation on district mask protocol. Superintendent Edwards.
Yes, sir. Thank you, President Muchnick. First of all, I want to thank everyone for their input. It's been the most difficult year, unprecedented. There's no question about that. I want to thank a special thanks and diligence to our students, our staff, our parents for their support through this difficult time. It's been difficult for all of us. With that said, the administration is recommending that the masks be optional effective Tuesday, June 1st. This is timely a recommendation as the board considers their vote this evening because it is directly in line with today's Governor Abbott's Executive Order GA 36, which says public schools may continue to follow current mask wearing guidelines through June 4th. We will recommend stay with our initial recommendation that it be June 1st and that we make masks optional from that day forward. We're talking 6.5 days. Thank you.
Is there any recommendation from, any discussion from the board? Any point of order, please. Point of order. This is your final warning. Thank you. Any discussion from the board? This time I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Muching, Mr. Edwards, I move to approve the superintendent's recommendation of the district's mask protocols as presented.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Edwards. All right, at this time we'll move into our superintendent's report. Our curriculum report is for information only. We'll move to our financial report, which is a budget update. Ms. Callahan, would you please come to the podium, please? Good evening.
Y'all are up for voting out next year. We don't vote.
Go ahead, Ms. Callahan, with your presentation. We'd appreciate it.
Children can't breathe. Your children are disappointed in you. Disappointed.
It should take a couple minutes. All right, well, Ms. Callahan, we'll turn the mic over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Here to give a preliminary budget update. As you know, in a legislative year, we sometimes don't know everything we need to know until a little later in the process. We're still working through the legislative, some of the programs that they are working with, and also, as you know, something we have now called ESSER. So we're working through that, and so I just want to give you a little budget update, knowing that there is more to look at. And on June 10th, we're going to be having a budget workshop at the agenda review meeting to give more detail, and hoping we know more information with regards to legislative action, and then, of course, adopt the budget on June 15th. As you know, we have our preliminary certified values now. We'll receive the certified values in July, which will what we'll use to set our tax rate in August, and present in August, and then adopt in September. Our estimated enrollment for next year is 11,747, and we've been working with our demographer. He has that number is slightly higher, so we just like to keep that in mind because we do work with Templeton demographics to just get additional information. Average daily attendance for next year is 10,887 at this point, and our weighted average daily attendance is 15,413. I always like to show our enrollment and attendance history, just to show we are growing, and how attendance relates to enrollment. We typically run about 94% of our of ADA, and this year is an exception certainly, but look forward to next year being back on track. Budget considerations, we talked a little bit last month. When we're looking at our staffing and enrollment projection and per pupil ratios, of course at elementary it's 22-1, and then we try staffing at 25-1 in grades 5 through 12. We are looking at salary increases for next year, 21-22, and also an increase in our employer contribution, so that would allow each employee to have a free plan. We have not received our rates from TRS yet, but those should be coming in June. So we want to, hopefully that works out as far as the projections. We do have some positions for growth, and we have some safety and security considerations. For our growth positions, we actually just have 6, and we look at our staffing each year, look at the enrollment and where the students will be, and so we move students around based on when they move to different grades, different schools, and so as you can see, we'll add 1 position at the elementary, 2 at intermediate, and 3 at the high school level. We do have 2 police officers in the budget. We also have a CPI increase for our transportation contract and our maintenance contract, which is on our agenda tonight as action items, and we do have an increase in our appraisal district fee, as the appraisal district's budget has increased with the need for more employees with the growing population of Bastrop and needing additional appraisers. We are looking at, in health services, replacing one of our LVN positions with an RN, so that's a partial salary, and then we have a part-time nurse's aide, and we would ask that to be full-time. We also are asking for a business office administrative assistant that can help with bond and operations. As you know, when we have a bond election, that creates a lot of purchase orders, and also work with our operations department. And then we have our federal stimulus money, and so we have to look at this ESSER 3 money that we're getting and the volume of it, and how that's going to coordinate with our general fund budget. So we're in the planning process, I know we've started the process of getting stakeholder input, and so we'll be meeting on that next week. And so definitely on our agenda review meeting, we'll have more information at our budget workshop with regards to that and what will be entailed with that. That will be spent in portions, but there's also legislation out there that has some bearing on ESSER 3. It has not passed, so we will look and some commissioner rulings that he might have authority of. Of course, looking at our taxable values, and these are preliminary again. They have, this does not include any reduction for the appraisal review boards and when people ask for reductions in their property values. So this number will change as we get to our certified values. This is just preliminary general fund revenue estimates, and as you can see, what you'll see is if our values increase and our property taxes increase, then our state revenue will decrease. So this is still fluid in that knowing what our property values end up being, but it's an offset. So you're either going to get more or less of each, but it washes out. I always like to show our program allotments within our general fund and the different areas, special ed, career and technology, state compensatory ed, bilingual, early education allotment, which was new in House Bill 3, and also our dyslexia allotment, and the spending requirements on those. Preliminary tax rate information. I do right now have a 15% growth that I'm projecting for value growth, but again, that could change. And with that, our tax rate for M&O next year would be 80.8747, and our INS tax rate would remain the same at 40.401, for a total tax rate of 1.2757, which actually is a reduction of about 4.5 cents from this current year. So just to show how that works, and we looked at this last month, as you know, the state, once you report your property values, they tell districts what their compressed rate will be. At this point, our compressed rate would be at the lower tier. Now, legislation can change that tier to even lower that further, but at this point, that has not happened. And of course, we have the 5 golden pennies. So really, once we're at about 10% property growth, our compressed rate will be that 0.8247, and if it goes higher, same. It won't change unless there's legislation change. So just a comparison of our current tax rate to our proposed tax rate for 21-22.
Just 1 second, Ms. Callahan.
Okay.
Ms. Callahan, while they're working on that, how many officers will that put us up to with hiring an additional 2? And Chief may have to answer that. 11. Okay, thank you.
All right, allocation tax rate. And of course, the board also adopts our debt service tax rate and our food service tax rate. So just to show you that for next year, these are approximate again, as when we know what our values will be, that affects our local revenue. And we should have an even budget, just a break-even budget for our property, for our bonds, and with the 40-cent tax rate. So again, no reduction in our debt service tax rate. Those 2021 values do remind you to see the difference. They do include that $5.2 million bond redemption we did. Our food service budget, this again is an estimate. Based on our contract renewal, we still have a contract that we're waiting on from TDA, so should have that by the June board meeting. But again, the food service budget runs through a federal fund, does not affect the general fund budget. So. All right, and just the budget process going forward, still monitoring our enrollment attendance and of course our values, and then looking at the ESSER 3 considerations and any legislative changes that could happen and what gets passed in through the legislation. So I will be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board for Ms. Callahan? All right, Ms. Callahan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, looks like the Human Resources Administrative Services report and the Operations report and the Police report, Department report for information only. There is no report this month from Communications or Community Relations report. This time we'll be moving into the consent agenda. Would any board member like to pull any of the consent agenda items for discussion? All right, before I entertain a motion, I will be abstaining from the consent agenda vote due to a conflict of interest with the depository contract. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second by Ms. McClure. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Ms. Barrientos, please note that I abstain. Thank you. All right, let's move along to our action items. We'll get Ms. Callahan back up here. We'll consider approval of amendment number 1 between Gold Star Transit and Bastrop ISD.
Yes, thank you. As you know, that we're in the second year of our contract with SSC. This is Gold Star SSC. I had it in the wrong order.
Gold Star.
Gold Star? Oh, sorry. Okay, Gold Star.
We'll do that first.
Again, in the second year of our current Gold Star contract, as you know, last year's contract, we received the new buses, and I think most of the buses are in. We've received our transit buses, so we're also working on getting the new Zonar programs going, where students will be able to be identified when they're on the bus. So if you're looking for your student, that we're just working through that process with IT and transportation. So we're looking forward to that. This contract includes just a 2% CPI increase, which is typical for our maintenance and transportation contracts. So I recommend that the board approve the amendment number 1 between Gold Star Transit and Bastrop ISD as presented. And again, this will be part of our budget when it's adopted.
Just right quick, Ms. Callahan, can you give us an update on, I believe we're having some new buses roll in. Do we have them all in, or?
I think most of the buses are in, except maybe, right, and then, yeah, they're on the road, yes. And I think, have you had an update lately?
They're back there, but they've got a couple of the 48 transit buses in.
So we got all 66 of the regular buses, and we're waiting on the 14 activity transit buses.
Okay.
Okay, and roughly?
This month.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, any other questions from the board? All right, this time I move to approve the amendment number 1 between Gold Star Transit and Bastrop ISD as presented.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Ms. Callahan, we'll move along to, and also just quickly, Gold Star, thank you for being here and thank you for what you do and managing busing through the COVID in the last year or so, year and a half. Thank you. All right, we'll consider approval of amendment number 2 between SSC Services Solutions and Bastrop ISD. Ms. Callahan.
Yes, and very similar to our Gold Star. This again is just an amendment for the 2% CPI increase. So I recommend that the board approve the amendment number 2 between SSC Services for Education and Bastrop ISD as presented.
Any discussion from the board? Ms. Callahan. All right, I move to approve amendment number 2 between SSC Services Solutions and Bastrop ISD as presented.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, one more here, Ms. Callahan.
Right.
We'll consider approval of board resolution and interlocal agreement with Allied State Cooperative.
Yes, and this is an interlocal agreement with Region 19 Education Service Center. And as you know, we do work with cooperatives in order for our purchasing to be more efficient. When we can work with those organizations, they bid out the services, and so then we're able to join these cooperatives, and then it saves us, frankly, time and money and not having to bid those out. So this particular contract we're working with as far as one of our special programs contracts. So we're recommending there's no membership fee to join this cooperative, so we're recommending the board approve the board resolution and interlocal agreement with Allied States Cooperative Program of Region 19. Sorry.
Any questions from Ms. Callahan from the board? All right, this time I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the board resolution and local agreement with Allied State Cooperative as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Callahan.
All right, thank you.
All right, at this time, Ms. Baker, if you please come up, we'll consider approval of a memorandum of understanding with Connected Nations, Inc.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So Bastrop ISD is bringing for your consideration an MOU with Connected Nations Incorporated to provide free internet service and hotspots for educational purposes through the AT&T K-12 GAP program. This partnership will allow us to provide 500 hotspots for a term of 14 months to highly mobile and at-risk students for the 2021-2022 school year. Some of the highlights of the MOU are the equipment, the service, and the content filtering is being provided to us or the awardees at no cost, meaning we won't receive a bill on these hotspots. The district will receive Moxie hotspots that have an unlimited data plan and built-in enterprise traffic protector for content filtering. And then each device will come with a unique identifier and a SIM card number, which will allow us to record who we're distributing the devices to. And then each hotspot comes with a 12-month warranty, so if anything were to happen or if they were to malfunction within that time, they would be replaced, again, at no cost to us. And in anticipation of us, we recently found out that we received the grant on the hotspots, and I do want to provide a thank you to Norma Mercado, who is our Family and Social Services Coordinator. She is the one that actually applied for this grant and got us approved for it. And what we're hoping to do, we're still working on the logistics, but we would like to keep the hotspots within the Department of Student Services, and then Norma would manage how we distribute those hotspots, and we would prioritize most likely our seniors that might be at risk of not graduating or working on credit recovery to hope to get them caught up. So it'll help us with our COVID recovery efforts as well. Any questions from the board members?
Just roughly, you probably mentioned this right early on, how many roughly hotspots would this manage?
500.
500, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Laura?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a year contract, or a year?
They extended it, so at first it was going to be 12 months of internet-free service, which the internet service will be provided by AT&T. So there'll be a third party, but they've actually extended it for 14 months, which should basically get us through the next school year.
Through the next school year.
So through the summer, I would anticipate, once we have the MOU signed and we move into the agreement process, we should get the hotspots in the early part of summer. So again, that should take us throughout the next school year.
And we don't know if it's a reoccurring grant that we could reapply for?
We have some options with that. So there's all of them are ours to keep if we decide to do so. They're going to have more information about, because right now the internet service is free and being provided by AT&T. As it moves closer to that deadline, they would provide us more information on whether or not if we wanted to extend that service, but they don't have that information as of yet. So we can either keep the hotspots and do nothing with them, we can keep them and then continue the service, or we can send them back to Connected Nation.
And is 500 adequate, or are we looking to try to get more?
I hope so. I think it will help us be able to provide them to those students that we've identified of being truly in need, that maybe cannot do credit recovery outside of the school day, or maybe cannot finish their homework because the only time they have connectivity is during the school day. So I think it'll be sufficient, but again, we may not know until we cross that bridge.
Well, thanks for the effort, and glad we got 500.
Okay, me too. So I recommend, if there's no more questions, sorry, didn't mean to cut anybody off. I recommend the board approve the memorandum of understanding with Connected Nation, Inc. as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Baker, thank you for your efforts. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, the rest of the items on here are for information only. Looks like we have a calendar and seeing how enrollment's going. Also some information on the appraisal district's 2022 proposed budget, as well as any single budgeted purchases more than $50,000. And before we adjourn, I want to give us a special thanks to the audio and visual team. Gentlemen. As well as to our police department that I am so proud of, and I know this board is proud of, and thank you for your presence here tonight, and it means a lot, and we thank you for what you do at our schools every single day, and so we really do appreciate it. And also thank you to our cabinet, as well as other administration and Mr. Edwards. I know we've had some some tough topics to manage through. And how many more days of school did you say we have, Mr. Edwards?
I'm pretty sure it's 6.5.
6.5. Okay, we're going to get there. So, anyways, fantastic. Any objections to adjourning this meeting? All right, if there are none, the meeting adjourned. Thank you for being here. Take it.